May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. Welcome to another Cuke Audio mini podcast. And this is another outtake from Zen is Right Now. There were outtakes from Zen is Right Here, and I used some of them in Zen is Right Now. Mainly it was new ones I'd collected. And these are the outtakes from Zen is Right Now. So none of these got in Zen is Right Here or Zen is Right Now. So this one's fairly short. I'd better fill it in with something, or you'll feel cheated. I mean, you bought a ticket. I can't try to remember who this was. When we left Tassajara, Suzuki told us, "You may leave the monastery, but the monastery won't leave you." Well, I'm going to go find, I don't identify who it was here. But I've got it. I'll find it. Just hang on a second. I'm going to pause this. Unpause. Oh, that's from Bob Watkins. Yeah. Bob was the first work leader at Tassajara. He and Sandy arrived, like in February of 1967. Shortly after we bought it, they came in a snowstorm. The road was really bad. I'd been there a little bit before them, just for the first time. Or maybe I came in, maybe they were already there when I came in. I came in for a little bit at the end of February, and then I went back and lived there in March. And they were already there one of those times. And Bob knew stuff. He knew how to do things. He was an older person. He was, they had a camper. He'd put it all together with, they could sleep in the back. They had all their food, and they were vegans. They had little compartments with everything there. He knew how to do stuff. So he was a lot of help. And he was the first, and he was a serious student. He was a respected student right away. He'd never practiced with a group, but he'd learned to meditate in prison. He did 8 years for armed robbery. He wasn't armed. I think he was driving a getaway car. He was a vet from the Korean War. He had some serious experiences there. That guy he'd bought the truck with money he'd made smuggling pot from Mexico. Did one trip. Smart move. Made a lot of money. Saved it. The guy, and he had a sailboat, right? That he owned with another guy. The other guy said, "Hey, let's do another trip, man." He said, "No way." So the guy did it. Got arrested. Of course, the sailboat was confiscated. He lost his sailboat. But anyway, that was one time he did. Oh, God, there's so much I could tell you about him. I will be telling. I mean, it's all on Cuke.com. But, I'm working on Tassajara stories. Got to finish that thing up this year. And, but there's some people whose whole story is so good. I just did some vignettes from Stan White. Now I mentioned Bob Watkins, Daniel Agee. They deserve. I'm thinking of doing 2 books simultaneously: Tassajara stories and a book called Zennies. Zennies. I'm thinking of including pieces on Japanese priests in Zennies. It's a little disrespectful, but why? We'll see. I don't know. It's just an idea I just got recently. Anyway, so Bob was there, through the first practice period. He was there in the fall. You can see his picture with Sandy. He was very tall and had a big red beard, and she was short. I think they're standing near or next to each other, identified in that picture, which is frequently called, and it was in Crooked Cucumber incorrectly, from the first practice period. It's not. It's from the fall. It was the oldest group picture we have. It's from the fall following the first practice period, more like in October, I think, or late September, maybe right in there. And there's people who weren't in the first practice period. Nils Holm and Jim Morton. Anyway, it's on the homepage of Cuke.com, and you can get the names. Anyway, about that time, he said, "Well, it's been a good experience. Time for us to move on." And I want to tell you, Richard Baker was mad at him, did not want him to leave. We depended on him. Suzuki Roshi really didn't want to leave. They had a really great relationship. And because Bob was older and sort of wise, Suzuki related to him. I mean, they'd get together at night and eat a few jelly beans and, look at the stars. But he moved on. Anyway, it's a great story. You can read it. It's all on Cuke.com. I think he should be in a book called Zennies. Oh, so right before they left, Bob and Sandy saw Suzuki Roshi, and he said to them, "Well, you can leave the monastery, but the monastery won't leave you." And that was a sweet thing of him to say, and it also showed his respect for them, that they had gained something, they had gathered something that they were taking with them. Bob went on later to get ordained by Kobun Chino and started the Tao Zendo. And they had a decade or so in between all that to do other stuff. This has been a Cuke Audio mini podcast. I'm DC Puba of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from sleepy Sanur with Doggett Bandita, Feline Cuchita, and dear lovely Katrinka. And we're wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening.